So if Pablo Neruda had a Twitter account, what hashtags would he have used, do you think?
Oof, he would, poetry for sure, Latin America, and probably socialism, I guess, communism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think today's persecuted artists or folk heroes are less about ideology and it's more about whistleblowers? Julian Assange, the Snowdens, even some of the hacktivists that expose corporate fraud. Do you think it's less about, because now with social media, anybody can put their ideologies out there in most countries.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Depends where, no? Depends where and depends how. But it is incredible that on both cases, the system in a way organizes and really, like, you know, just puts together a lot of energy and resources to shut down one person. And this is something that happens in this film. There is a big movement, you know, of you know, real worry to shut down one person, and that's something that's been happening throughout. It's quite astonishing how it is impossible also to shut down a person's thoughts. No?
And if today's people is using social media or they're hacking information from organizations, government, or whatever, what Neruda was doing is he was using poetry. He was using poetry to communicate his ideologist perspectives and his points of view on how to change the world throughout poetry. So it's nice to go back a little bit, use the time machine that cinema can have, and see how, you know, not long ago, this is just 60 years ago, our poets were trying to change the world through our words and through poetry, through metaphors, and I think there's a lot of beauty there.
Well, I have a quote from him, and it says, "It was my destiny to love and say goodbye," and that's from Still Another Day. That seems so tame compared to what anybody can put out there on social media today. What do you feel about that? I mean, I know for you growing up in Mexico, you said that there were no autonomous voices at the time in the media, but were there any folk heroes the two of you had, any persecuted artists that were similar to Pablo Neruda? Growing up?
As persecuted, I don't know. I mean,
in my country we had 17 years of dictatorship, and many artists were assassinated, tortured, exiled, shut down. I mean, there's a bunch of people in my country. I couldn't talk about the reality in Mexico, but I'm sure in Argentina and in Brazil and other countries that also had dictatorship. I think, yeah, of course, fascism has done a lot of damage to our cultural activity in Latin America. So I could name you a few, but unfortunately there are thousands of them.
Yeah, there is a poet, I mean, I'm speaking for like maybe a generational kind of scope, but there is a poet that, and he's also an amazing songwriter, I mean, an amazing musician, an amazing guitarist called Silvio Rodriguez, who definitely shaped a lot of people's, I don't know, lives when we were young, and it's not that he was persecuted, it's just that him being Cuban, many countries don't even listen to him.
Yeah, and he's a
He's a
wonderful
musician.
musician.
Yeah, wonderful musician.
Galactic, he's so beautiful. Yeah.